Still, the fact that our class is moving really isn't distracting.
This is the behind the scenes footage.
Yes. Good thinking.
Sorry. No, sorry, it's me.
Oh, so we're doing our Year 5 assembly. We've been learning all about space in Year 5. So this is our Year 5 assembly where we've been talking about the space race. We're talking about the planets of the solar system. And we're talking about the first ever moon landings as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Year 5s have worked really hard and they've got a lot of great things to teach you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's on, yeah, it's green. Hello.
Good afternoon, Miss McConaughey.
Hello. Welcome, everyone, to the Year 5 show. It is amazing to see so many faces here today, especially in the delightful weather that we managed to have this afternoon, the rain and the wind. Fortunately, I have a funny feeling that Year 5 are going to transport you to another planet anyway. So I hope you enjoy the show. I've not seen anything yet, so it's a surprise for me as well. And a big congratulations to all the hard work that's went into it as well, and that's before I've seen it, because I know it's going to be amazing. So thank you very much for coming, and I'll hand you over to Year 5.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Year 5's assembly. We've been learning about space and about each of the planets.
Today, we're going to learn about the solar system and about each of the planets.
To help us, we have some adventurous astronauts to be lasting up to space. To help us to discover about our solar system, please give a round of applause to Emilio and Yuchen.
Take your seat in the rocket, astronauts. Put your space helmets on. Fasten your seatbelts. Time for the countdown. Join in with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
We are on a journey through our solar system, looking at everything that is there.
Here is the sun. The sun is not a planet, but actually is a star in the center of our solar system.
Now here come the planets. First it is Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun.
Here is Venus. Venus, the hottest planet of all. Thank goodness our astronauts took plans with them.
Do you recognize this planet? This is Earth, our home, of course. Earth is just the right temperature for people to live on. It's not too hot and not too cold.
Next to Earth is Mars. Astronomers, the scientists who study space, hope that one day people might be able to land on Mars.
After Mars is Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. Can you see that red spot in the middle? It's a never-ending storm.
This is Saturn. It looks a little different to the other planets. It has beautiful rings which can be seen from Earth. They're made up of bits of ice, dust, and rock. Saturn is also huge. It is the second largest planet in our solar system.
After Saturn is Uranus. Uranus has 27 moons, a lot more than Earth, which only has one. Last of all is Neptune. Neptune is so far away from Earth that only one spacecraft has ever flown past it.
We hope you enjoyed our journey through the solar system. It's time for Emilio Duchen to return to Earth. It looks like they have picked up some few new friends on their travels. I wonder where they came from.
Look! They're humans! They look so weird! They look so ugly!
Come from a place, the entire human race depends upon our planets, racing through outer space. And there are 8 planets that orbit around the sun. Come on, we'll introduce you and name them one by one. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. I'm Mercury, the smallest planet you see. You humans can never live on me. My atmosphere's too thin and I orbit too fast. My days are long. I am Venus, my atmosphere is super hot. I spin backwards in the way you think, but just not. I'm closest to the Earth and distant to size. And the moon feel like a can signifies I'm Earth, the planet that you know. I'm terrestrial but covered in H2O. I collide with things that I can't avoid, but my atmosphere protects me from meteoroids. I'm Mars and you can jump higher on me because I have a third of Earth's gravity. I hear your plan to visit soon. I'll be your first destination since the moon. On Jupiter with my 79 moon crew, like Io and just 2003 J2. Yeah, you can say I have a pretty large girl. Here's a story twice the size of your mama Earth. Oh, my name's Saturn. Check out my pretty rings. These rings are a few of my favorite things. I'm a giant made of hydrogen and helium. And please stop it with things. My name's Uranus and I'm a nice giant black stone. I was the first planet found with a telescope. I rotate backwards and on my side I smell like rotten. That's just the hydrogen sulfide. I'm Neptune and the windiest planet around. I have supersonic winds that's faster than sound. An ice giant with 13 moons and a couple of jets that go away soon. And I'm Pluto, and I will not be forgotten.
Pluto, beautiful, but yeah, we've been over this, and you're considered a dwarf planet these days, so Girl, I'm the biggest object in the Kuiper Belt.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, sing along real strong for the next two. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and I guess not Pluto.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. 7, 6, commencing countdown, engines on. 2, check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade.
Howdy, folks! I'm Neil Armstrong. The USA were the winners of the space race. We competed with Russia and won. Me and the American was the first person to walk on the moon. Don't be such a show-off. Don't forget we Russians went space first. So there. If I recall rightly, you firstly blasted off to space a dog and left it there. You Russians are certainly not dog lovers. Yet I was talking about me, Yuri Gagarin. I was the first human to orbit there. I walked on the moon. We Americans are the best. Really? We were the first up there and we were the first in the human space. Yeah, but it does not beat walking on the moon. You just cannot beat that. And because of that, makes you a space race loser. Space race loser. Who are you calling a loser? Stop, both of you. Go back to your places. Don't you see? Both American and Russian should be proud. Without each other, we may have never got to the moon. It doesn't matter who did what first. Not sure. I agree. Being second stinks. I was the second one on the moon, and because of that, I'm not as popular as him. Look at Neil Armstrong. Can we have a photo? Yes. Space race. What about me? I'm Buzz Aldrin, second on the moon. Maybe next time. No more battery, sorry. See what I mean? You can talk. What for me? I was on the Apollo mission too. I had to stay in the craft, someone had to drive, and because of that, nobody remembers me. It's just Stop sniffling. Be proud. Because of us, USA were the winners of the space race. Yeah!
The space race? What was the space race?
The space race was when the United States and the Soviet Union, now called Russia, competed to get the first manned spacecraft into orbit and the first man on the moon. It was a real battle. Okay, what's happened? When? Let us tell you. The space race began in 1957 when Russia launched Sputnik, the first satellite into orbit around Earth.
into space and did not want Russia to be, so they started to compete with them.
That same year, as Neil said earlier, we sent a dog to space. It was a Moscow street dog called Laika. She was caught, put in a Russian rocket, and blasted off space. It was a one-way trip. Sad, but she was the first animal to orbit there.
Not sure Laika would have been bothered. I think she preferred to play ball and have a ball. Anyway, in 1961, Yuri Gagarin here became the first person in space and the first person to orbit the Earth.
Don't be so cocky. It was only 3 weeks later when Alan Shepard became the first American in space. And only shortly after, in 1962, John Glenn orbited the Earth just like you did.
But I was the first. Anyway, Mother Russia continued to dominate space as in 1963, the Russian cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space. And in 1965, the Russian cosmonaut Alexei Leonov was the first man to walk in space. Darn, we were so close to beating you.
But you didn't, because in 1969, Neil, Buzz and Collins went to the moon in the Apollo 11 mission, and American astronauts were the first to land on the moon.
What a story! You've opened a whole new frontier. Space! Who knows? Someday humans might visit the planets of the solar system. Just imagine that.
Hey, are you ready for space race? We're gonna dance. Alright, come on.
Star Neptune, that's pretty blue, but it's way too cold for me and you. Shiver, shiver, boom, shiver, shiver, boom, shiver, shiver, boom, shiver, shiver. As Uranus is on the side, can you dance with one leg way away? Look at Saturn, 7 rings, makes me wanna
watching TV. What's going on?
This is history happening. Keep watching. We are about to see the most important event in the space race.
Thank you for joining us for today's news broadcast. We are live in Cape Kennedy in Florida to witness the launch of Apollo 11 spacecraft. I will finally take humans to the moon for the first time. You mean humans are actually going to walk on the moon? They sure will. In 3 days' time, you will get to see Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin step onto the moon for the first time ever. 3 whole days? Why so long? Because the moon is a long way away, over 380,000 kilometers. It takes 72 hours to fly there.
Did the TV just talk to us?
The 3 astronauts, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong, climb aboard the Apollo spacecraft, ready to be launched into space by the Saturn V rockets. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
The Saturn V rocket booster fired up and lifted the 140,000 kilogram rocket up into the air.
As the rocket climbed into the sky, the first stage of boosters took the astronauts to an altitude of 67 kilometers. The first stage of the rocket then broke away, and it was time for the second stage.
The second stage of rockets took the Apollo 11 spacecraft up above the atmosphere and into orbit around the Earth. Again, once this stage was over, the rockets broke away, leaving the third stage to send the astronauts on their way to the moon.
The Saturn V rocket was the largest rocket ever sent into space. It was 111 meters tall.
For their journey to the moon, the astronauts had to live inside the command module, which was very small. It had 3 seats for them to sit in and not much room for anything else.
A successful launch. Time for us to go and make history.
Well, that was exciting. I'm glad that we're safely in space now.
Time for us to set a course for the moon. Then, that should take us about 3 days.
I hope that one of you got some snacks.
Hey guys, where's the bathroom?
While the 3 astronauts enjoyed their 3-day journey, some other beings enjoyed having all the moon to themselves.
It's amazing having this whole place to ourselves. Look how easily we can bounce around.
That's because the gravity here is so low.
There's no atmosphere here either.
It's a good job we're aliens and don't need to breathe.
I'm so bored. Nothing fun ever stopping on the moon.
They do all sorts of fun things there on Earth.
So let's do something fun then. We could dance.
Dance? I don't want to dance.
Well, but look, come on, let's dance. Oh no, you don't. I have it. Catch it.
Undercover. She said, green grass, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die. Green grass, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die.
No way. This never happened. I don't remember aliens involved from moon landings. Continue. No, stop. That's enough. This never even happened. Aliens on the moon? Ridiculous. Go on now. Astronauts are almost here. Shoot.
Finally, after 72 hours of flight, Apollo 11 arrived at the moon.
The lunar lander detached from the command module, leaving Michael behind to orbit the moon.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin flew the lunar lander down to the surface of the moon and became the first humans on the moon.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Wow, that's a beautiful view.
Isn't it something?
I'm coming out to help you. Let's get collecting some rock samples.
The astronauts stay on the moon for 2 hours, taking pictures, collecting rock samples to bring back to Earth.
Before you leave, you don't forget to plant the flag.
Here looks like a good spot. Time to go back now, Buzz.
We're setting off now, Michael. We'll be back with you soon.
Message received. See you soon.
Don't forget the camera.
The 3 astronauts spent another 3 days traveling through space before splashing down into the Pacific Ocean.
The U.S. Navy picked it up and they returned to Earth as Zero firmly remembered.
I guess they never saw that last photo in the camera.
What an amazing show, everybody. Energetic, fun, loads of amazing songs. And I know I mentioned at the start that I would like to be transported to another planet, but after hearing the facts, I think we'll just take our chances with the one we're on. But amazing, you've put so much effort into it. So I would also like to say thank you to obviously everyone else involved, the class teachers, the parents for helping with all the costumes. I know you've probably been listening to all the songs at home as well over and over again while they're practicing. But it's been well worth it. The show was absolutely amazing. So thank you very much, everybody. And a final round of applause for the children as well.